Hello everyone, welcome to the video series on UFT automation. In the last video, we looked at the basic concepts on regular expression. We kind of discussed the purpose of regular expressions, and also we looked at the regular expression object in terms of the methods and properties it has. And now what we'll do is we'll take a very simple example and implement it. And the goal here is to kind of work on a file. We will I have a file here. I kind of added them as functional libraries. They are not functional libraries. They're just plain text files. So that I added it so that you can see the contents of the file. So here are the contents of this file, sample underscore text1. Okay. And what we will do here is the goal is we'll see if you see how many matches or how many instances of com are within the file. You can do for any word, but we'll start there and play with it. So that's the goal. So that means we need to read the file, look for .com and or com, and then see how many instances or number of times it's in the file. So I would follow a simple procedure. This is kind of pretty much applicable to pretty much in most cases you're trying to do anything with a file. So primarily, first we need to declare the objects that we need. Again, we are working with a file. That means you must have already been watched. You must have already watched the VB scripting videos where I talk about file system objects. There are good examples out there. It talks about how you can look at the file, process them, and things like that. So if you haven't watched those VB scripting videos, and if you haven't practiced, then it might be a little bit difficult, but I try to kind of explain as I go through, so that at least you'll not be lost. But I would highly encourage you to go there, watch those VB scripting videos, learn that, practice it, and then come back here so it becomes real smooth. Okay, well, let's get started. So our goal is to apply regex on a file, and we know the file that we're going to work with. That's the file. Then we need to declare some required variables. Now don't ever try to perfect things in the very single sitting. It's always trial and error. You would grow. You will start with something, and you'll slowly start enhancing the script, enhancing your function library, so it will grow. The day one, there is no way you can write a perfect script. It doesn't matter how much experience you have. Maybe if you have more experience, you may have a better starting point, right? Because of the experience and a little bit of planning. But if you're learning, start with something, and then you will just grow on that one. That's exactly how I am going to develop this script. So I'm going to act as if I'm starting new and trying to learn. So I'm going to introduce quite a bit of trial and error. I'm going to run it multiple times, and then I'll hopefully that'll give you a better experience. So I need to declare variables. Number one, I don't know what kind of variables I need to declare, right? So let me start with something, and of course I'm going to use a little bit of standard, okay, and I'll explain that as well. So I need to declare variables, and we know in VB, dim is used to declare variables. So I need to declare variables, and I don't know what variables now, right? Next one, it says create a file system object. So okay, well, now I need to create a file system object, meaning I need a variable for that. And pretty standard is in the industry either they use O or OBJ and say FSO or FS or something as a standard to represent a variable. And now again, if it is an object, they'll most likely put OBJ so that it's easy for you to recognize as you go through the script. And I will use OFSO as a standard again, it's just a matter of preference. It's up to you, but I would highly encourage you to either use OBJ or O, and as long as you have something in there as an identifier, it helps you. Okay, so I need a file system object, right? So we'll start there, and then we'll go back and adjust it. So now I need to create an object, and if you had watched that VB scripting videos, you will understand it. So let me do this. To create an object, it is create object, and then you define it. It's scripting dot file system object. This is how you create an object. But this creates an object, but you need to send that object into some variable. So that variable will be set FSO that we just created, or I mean to say declared on line 11. So we declared on line 11. So I'll just copy this, put it there, so it kind of helps. So here I created the object. Now what? And I created the object. Now I need to read the file. Now again, I need to read that file into something. I need a variable for that. It would be object. It could be you can give any name, right? But I'm going to give text stream as a kind of a standard variable used in the industry. Again, it's up to you, depending if it's a specific file, you can create a name for that. You can use appropriate name. So I'm going to do set, and I'm going to copy this variable. Try to copy the variables as much as you can, because if you type, there would be some typo, you'll have an issue. Now I want to read a specific file, but to read the specific file I have to use the file system object. So I'm going to use that object, and on that there is a method called file open text file, and then we need to give a path, and that's where the path will go. Okay, and then once we do that, then we need to read the file. Let's do this. Okay, before we start reading the file, let's get the file path. So let me grab that real quick. So that's the file path for this sample_txt. That's the file path. Now after that, let me read the whole contents of the file into into a variable. Okay, and I'm going to do here, so to read that, did I have that step in there? Open a text file using that line number 3. Open a text file using this one. Next is regex. So right here, let me go ahead and read the contents of the file as well. So this will create, what happens is it creates a stream, but now but you have to read it. So here I would say my file contents. Just for clarity's sake, I'll do this, my file contents equal to, I'm going to use this stream or this variable dot, and I'll do read all. That will read the whole thing. Again, this is directly coming from the VB concepts. Now after you read the file, so now you have the file is ready. Now next step is to create a reg object. Now for the reg object, you have to create an object, right? So to create an object, first let us declare a variable for that, and I'll do, it's an object, I'll say regex. I mean, again, regular expression, it's up to you how you want to name it. So in order to create the object, I'll just set that equal to, I need to create new, it's reg expression, regex. So that would create a regular expression object. Once you create the object, you need to set what? Properties, and start executing. So we need to, let us first set the proper properties for that object. So this is the object. Now with this object, let's see. Okay, let us say first, we know that one of the properties is global. We need to set it to true, because that would tell the regular expression to consider the whole text. And now let's say let us ignore case equal to true. So you don't we want to ignore the case. It doesn't matter what case we should get it. Next is we need to define the pattern. Dot pattern equal to, what is the pattern we are looking for? We are looking for com. .com. Yeah, we can also put .com as well. .com. So it'll try to find the .com, word.com there. So now once we have all this declared, the next is we need to run our desired method on it, right? So what happens when we run the method, and how do we run it, right? Now we need, of course, we have a regular expression. We declare all the properties, and the method is for us. One of the methods we discussed in the last video is execute. Execute would actually execute on the certain string, and in this case, we need to run the regular expression on the contents of the file that we read. So now, but the way this works is you need to say set matches equal to. So this is an object, we execute it. Whatever we execute, all that goes into this particular object. I mean, this is actually an object. Okay. Now, to do this, we can declare that variable there, right? Now, the next thing is my file content. We have a variable here. Let's make sure we take there as well. So what we are doing is we start off this with one variable. We are writing the script, and as we need variables, we are using them, and then we are declaring within this dim statement as well. So we are kind of going back and forth. Next, so once we have this, then what we can do is let us count the number of instances. So let's say print the number of instances of the, okay, now let's say number of matches, just keep it simple. Matches are it'd be O matches, and we need to count. Okay. Now once we do the count, of course we did our execution, we're counting. The last thing is to our good habits. We need to close everything. And let me just copy a few lines in there. So O text stream, O text stream, O text, we are setting it to nothing. We are closing the stream, we are setting it to nothing. OFS object, OFS object, and O regex. O XP, so we'll do that as well. Okay, so we're gonna set this to nothing. It's again, everything is from the VB scripting video, so you might want to go there and kind of watch all these and do some look at the good examples I have there. So once we kind of gave this script, or this script kind of a structure, right? So let's go ahead and run it and see if this works. Again, regular standard thing that I use when I have these multiple scripts. I have multiple actions there, but every action has this very first line is set to what is this? Set to exit action. So it will go there, but it will not run anything. So, but I have this sampler, the last action, it does not have exit action. So if I run the script, right, what happens is it will skip all these and then just run whatever is in this sampler one action. So it looks like there's quite a bit of errors here. Let's see what these are. End of statement. Oh, okay. Let me do this. Let me put that there, because I'm trying to, you know what, I can just remove the, now that you have already seen the file. It's not a function library, but I added the text file as a function library, so it's indicating that there are quite a bit of syntax errors. I'll go ahead and remove these, and then that will get rid of all errors. Well, now let's go ahead and we'll just keep this open. Let's go ahead and run the test. Let's see what happens. Well, first is the create object, set FSO file system object scripting dot file system object. It says type mismatch create object. So we have an issue here. Okay, there is a typo there. Sorry. Create object. Now it's blue. Okay, let me go ahead and run. Okay, host stream dot close object require OText stream. Stop. I'm trying to close OText stream. Let me just copy that here. Oh, it's actually there's no. Oh, looks like. Okay, again there's a typo there. Okay, that's the reason it failed. Let me go ahead and run it one more time. So it said, what do I have in the data? Global. Okay. Output display. Okay. Close it. Said 0.com, but we know the .com is here and the .com is here. Let's go ahead and troubleshoot this one. Okay, there was a little issue with the file that I had, sample underscore text1, for whatever reason, having a little problem with the file. So what I did was I just pointed it to another file, which is sample underscore text4 dash regex.txt, and that file looks like this. It has globally training.com, delivers live online QA training, and some bunch of numbers. Okay, what we'll do is let's see how many occurrences or QA are there, and then we'll kind of play with the script a little bit. So we have training. I'll change it to QA, and let me do this. I'll do Q and lowercase a because we said ignore is true, so we're going to ignore the case. But in the file we have QA uppercase. So we will print we'll count it and print it, and let's see how it works. Okay, number of matches of 1. So there's only one occurrence of that word QA. I'll go ahead and duplicate that line. File save. So I have if I were to search for QA, I should see 2 this time. And just what I'll do is I will go ahead and where's our print line? Here I'll put time. Just so we see a time difference here when we run, because we are going to run this multiple times. So now for this run, the output should be 2 in the output window. Well, okay, we have timestamp there, and say the number of matches are 2. We look for training. We are just changing the pattern. So there are 3 occurrences of the word training. Let me go ahead and pull this file. So there's a training here, and training here. Now let's say you want to count the word. There is a to deliver. Let me do this. Also delivers in class training. I'll just add that line in there. So now I have the word delivers 3 times. I'll just copy that. I'll save this file, paste it here for the pattern, and let me go ahead and run it. So what I have is 3. Let me go ahead and enhance output line a little bit. I'll say the number of matches for, and I can do that. Bring this pattern value and put it here, but you know what, I'll ignore this here for a minute. Just restore it back. Okay, now let me do a quick thing. Let me put a caret sign in there and see what's the difference. It was 3 before. Let me go ahead and run the script. Oh, number of matches is 0. Okay, then we will deal with caret later. Caret should represent the start of the line. So anyway, so that's how we'll look into matching numbers, specific numbers, with the wildcard in the next video. But this is the basic idea behind applying regular expressions on text stream. Again, you can use this and apply it on on the property names as well. We'll also look into it probably another video. Well, that's it about regular expression with a sample example. It's a very basic example, and in the next video we will add more to this same script. We'll expand on this one. Okay, well, thank you then. I'll talk to you in the next video.